What is love? Thank you for joining me in my What is Love project. 30 days exploring what is not, and whatever is love. Day 2. Love is about fulfilling basic needs. Or let's say, fulfilling our basic needs is part of love. So people often talk about self-love. They tell each other that you need to love yourself or you need to love yourself more. That's all very well, fantastic advice, but what is self-love? How do I love myself? Do you know? I hope you do. Well, I didn't. So, some years ago, I was going to a kinesiologist for some assistance with my wellness. Her name was Eliane, and she lives in Hong Kong. She's from France. She gave me a lot of help. I went to her in total about 10 sessions within a year. And each and every time, I noticed a lot of positive changes. So I kept going. But then, when it was around the number 6 or 7 session, I didn't notice any change. She asked me the strangest question during the session. She said to me, Stephanie, do you love yourself? I was like, what do you mean? And she asked me again, do you love yourself? Would you like to love yourself? I said, okay, like in movies or songs. So anyway, she did whatever she did for me, and I didn't even bother asking her. I didn't even know it was a thing. But then after the session, I didn't feel anything. But I started asking myself, what is love? What is loving myself? How do I do that? So, do you know that whenever we ask a question, the answer will come as long as that question is about our immediate need. Um, so I didn't know that, but it did happen. And it came in the form of a Facebook post. So what happened was that all that years ago, I was a flight attendant, and I had this friend who was also a flight attendant. He worked also as a Chinese astrologer as well as a feng shui person, and he had used his wisdom to assist me in the past, and he gave me some really wise advice. So when I saw his post, I started paying attention, and he wrote something like, "It's autumn now. Um, in the evening is a little bit chilly. Love yourself. Keep yourself warm." I know for many of you, this is the most natural thing to do, but it wasn't for me. You see, I was constantly depressed at the period of my life, and my heart was in winter constantly, and I allowed my body to match it. I felt I was worthless. I was a waste of space, and I didn't deserve to be warm. And the worst part was that I thought I was very ridiculous and silly, and therefore I never told anybody. I didn't even tell Eliane, who was helping me. I thought it was just normal for me, you know? So, anyway, after I saw that and realized that I never do that for myself, I thought, I don't feel anything. I don't feel any love. I don't know what it is, but how about doing some action? So I started reminding myself to help myself to be warm all the time. And then from then, I started noticing a lot more of my habit, how I didn't look after myself. So, you know what? Why don't we all have a little think if we are fulfilling our basic need. So, and you know that the best expert to ask is our own body. And our body always loves to communicate with us. And I'm sure, whether you know it or not, your body has told you many things over the years. Sometimes the way the body tells us things is through giving us some symptoms, like headache, like tension in the body. But we don't want to leave it to that point. We can always ask our body to give us messages, communicate with us in a much gentler way. And if we communicate with our body often, then the body is more likely to be able to tell us its basic needs very easily and in a very effective, simple manner. So, what are our basic needs? Let's think about it together, or maybe I'll do the thinking now, and maybe you will allow your mind to go for a little walk with me. So let's see. Let's look at a tiny little baby. What is it? What do the parents wish for? Maybe the first instant when they came out of the womb, what do the parents wish for? The breath. See, the baby often come out crying, and the parents are happy even though the baby is crying because, oh, the baby is breathing, it's alive. So, how well do you breathe now? Do you know? Do you notice your breath sometime? Do you notice that sometimes you're holding your breath? Maybe you are breathing just shallow breath all the time? Do you notice? Do you know that your lungs are actually really, really big and fascinating? Get to know your lungs a little by concentrating, focus on your breath. Maybe do this every day. Maybe now and then throughout the day, just breathe consciously. Breath is life, and that's precious life that your parents have given you. So breathe and breathe in good quality manner. So the next one, sleep. Babies are cranky when they don't have enough sleep, and the parents use all the method that they can think of to help the baby to fall asleep. So, do you do that for yourself? Do you create a nice environment in your bedroom for yourself to fall asleep, to deep, deep sleep, deep, deep, sweet sleep? For example, do you bring your phone onto your bed and keep on looking at the post, even though your eyes are so tired now? Do you leave the television on all the time? Do you let your worries still being very much um, loudly talking to you? You can always breathe and breathe yourself to sleep. It's wonderful. And what about during the day? I know many of you have to work long hours in an office or other environment, and you can't just lie down anytime you want. But how about maybe just sitting down, maybe allow your body to rest, allow your mind to rest, just for a little. And some of you, maybe you have the time to rest a little in bed at home, but do you feel guilty? Is that why you stop yourself from resting? How do you get enough energy if you don't have good quality rest? So think about it. How can you help yourself for having better quality rest? So, the next one, food. How much care our parents have put into helping us to have nutrition, to have proper amount, and they will look at how often we need to eat, maybe 4 times a day, maybe when we were a little bit bigger as a toddler, maybe 3 times a day, maybe still very good, healthy snack in between. Do you look after yourself in this way? Do you make sure that you have adequate amounts of food, nutrition throughout the day? Let's think about that. And do you know what are the nutritious food group for you, your unique body type? And now, since we're talking about food, let's talk about excretion. I know many of you might get put off by it, but why? That's a very, very natural part of us. And our parents had deal with our poo-poos and wee-wees for many years. So, do you look at them? Do you notice them? Do you notice how your wee-wees and poo-poos smell like? What about the quantity, the frequency, the texture? The poo-poos and wee-wees are very telling. I'm sure if you're a parent or even if you have pet, you know that you can tell a lot about the food that they're intaking, if they're good or not so good. And so why don't you start also examine your pupils and wee-wee? Just have a brief look. It just come out of you. They're not that bad. Unless you really think that you are full of bananas inside, you know. So have a little look. Because if you don't want these other people to look at your pupils and wee-wees and other people, I mean like doctors, nurses, or the lab people. You don't want to get to that point, so start examine your own pupils and wee-wees. It is very important to pay attention to your health since from everything that you can look at. So the next one, water. You know, if you observe some parents and or even people who have pets, they give praises to their children whenever they have some water because it is so important to have water throughout the day. So do you do that? Do you allow yourself to have good quality water? Adequate amount of water? Do you remember to hydrate yourself often? Maybe a little sip now and then throughout the day, even when you're having the most busy day? And you know the water has to come out. It's good to sweat. Do you do some exercise or just do some movement now and then to let yourself sweat it out to cleanse your pores? And what about your wee-wees? Do you hold it? Do you honor your body's need and just go to the bathroom, even when it's a public toilet, whenever your body needs to go, instead of not drinking any water because you're afraid that you can't find any public bathroom that are clean? So look after yourself in this way as well. The water intake and output, let's say. Now and then let's get to the physical body. To know how our parents or even everybody, when they look at a tiny little baby, they're like, oh, look at the toes, look at the fingers, it's amazing. You know what? You are still amazing You just look a bit bigger. Maybe the shape has changed a bit, but you are still amazing because you're alive. You have the breath. So, when was the last time you look at your little toes? When was the last time you even touched them, like massage them? And if you're thinking, ew, they're very dirty, that's only because you forgot to wash them well. So wash them. Maybe give it a little massage. But just notice, remember that you have a physical body. It is an amazing creation. How did it come into existence? Just be amazed by yourself, your physical body. Why not? So that's the physical body. And you know what? Our parents have spent many years observing us. Is the baby doing the right movement? Are they? Is it okay that they're not walking yet? Or are they falling? You know all these movements. So now you know how to walk. You know how to use your arms and legs. Do you use them? Do you curl up in in bed or your sofa, look at your phone or TV all the time, or even reading a book? Do you sometimes remember to stand up and stretch and just let your body go all directions? It's so nice. So let's do that sometime. Now let's talk about the final one and a very important part of looking up after a little baby. That's quality time, the attention. You know, the parents usually, if the baby is lucky, the parents spend a lot of time with this little baby. The parents may be just looking at them, caressing them, feeding them, all these. They might be giving them the basic need, but then if they have the connection, if they have that love going, that care, that's also quality time. So do you give your body quality time? Sitting quietly, noticing your body movement is a quality time. Maybe when you eat your food and you notice and you say to your body, thank you for being here, digesting this food, growing healthy flesh, having healthy fluid flowing inside. That's quality time. And now I would like to share with you what quality time I would do with my body sometime. I like to give myself a hug. I like to also hug my whole body, like with my legs together. See, immediately I feel relief. And I want to just breathe. This position, I don't know if you will feel it. For me, I feel safe. I feel I'm protecting myself. I'm loving myself. I'm giving myself that little attention, that quality time. And if you like, you can also say something to yourself, your body. And these are the words that sometimes I would use. You may use these words and you may also make up other words that are suitable for you. I thank you, my precious body, for allowing me to experience life in a physical way. Please tell me if there's anything you want me to do. I am committed to fulfill all my body's basic needs. Please help me. Please remind me what are the basic needs and all the needs that my body needs so that I can have the perfect body so that my body is in harmony. And then you might like to sit like that for a little bit, hugging yourself, or maybe then you might remember, or remember what is some way that you can do to look after yourself better. And then a miracle might just happen. It's happening now for me. I feel this joy. You see, have you noticed when you give a little baby some attention, when all the basic needs of this baby is fulfilled, is fed, is changed, it has water, is comfortable being in bed, it has plenty of rest, and then when you play, give the baby some attention, it start giggling, it start having this immense joy, and it's the most wonderful thing to see. So look after your body, love your body, love yourself by fulfilling all your basic needs. Thank you again for joining me. See you tomorrow.